Hello, 你好，欢迎回来，Welcome back to Wisdom Wednesday with Johnny Tiger. On Wednesday, September 1st, 2021. Sometimes I have a very specific set of things I want to talk about on Wisdom Wednesday. I have things planned out, and usually I end up forgetting about them, and then have to try to remember them. Uh, I mentioned this before because I never actually script any of these sessions. Sometimes I may rehearse a little bit uh, of the important stuff for Tactical Tuesday or Survival Saturday. Sometimes for Music Monday, I definitely want to sit down and see if I can get the song to a certain degree of satisfaction. But for the most part, it's off the cuff. It's okay, I want to talk about this, and here we go, that kind of stuff. But sometimes during the course of prepping material, especially for Wisdom Wednesday and sometimes Sausage Sunday, I may come across something that's kind of interesting. That's so interesting that I go, huh, let's talk about this instead. So today, seemingly out of nowhere, we're going to talk about one of these little gems that I stumbled across while researching for my original topic. Chinese people have lived thousands of years, living their life and tailoring their life and politics, and even to a certain degree, their uh, belief system to the teachings of the greatest teacher in Chinese history, the person we know as Confucius. In Mandarin, we call him Kongzi. Kongzi. So I don't know how they got Confucius out of that. Honestly, the first time I heard the name Confucius, I thought, who are they talking about? Is this some weird religion where everyone is confused? Is that why they call him Confucius? Uh, what is that about? I didn't realize they were talking about Kongzi, the greatest teacher in Chinese history that almost every Chinese uh, person would know about. Somehow, somewhere along the line, some Westerner, probably Marco Polo, came to China, heard about Kongzi, and then brought his name and his teaching back to the Western world, and he uh, mm, did something weird to his name and made him sound like Confucius. And so uh, that turned his teachings into Confucianism, which, yeah, Confucianism, that really just sounds like someone who's confused all the time. And which, honestly, not that I want to talk bad about the greatest teacher in Chinese history, but if you go back and look at the life of Confucius and the kind of stuff he was teaching, yeah, I'm pretty sure he confused a lot of people, especially way back when it was like 2 or 3 thousand years ago, something like that. Anyway, I am digressing slightly from the main topic as usual. Chinese people have lived thousands of years based on teachings of Confucius, which is very much centered on one thing, and this thing is the importance of ceremony. Confucius believed that everything have to have rhyme and reason and order, and there got to be a way to do everything, and everything have to be done at a certain manner, certain tempo, certain ways. He believed that there's a ceremony for everything. Without ceremony, there would be chaos. So a lot of you might have, uh, if you've been following my Wisdom Wednesday so far, you probably have come across this thought in the past where you thought, Oh my God, they even have a rule for that? Why? Why can't they? Why do they bother having a rule for that? Is that making things so complicated? And that is why, because of how much Chinese lifestyle have evolved around the teachings of Confucius. Um, a lot of Chinese traditions, ceremonies spawned from that as well. And there are so many of these little ceremonies and rules and stuff like that. A lot of us who are Chinese or Taiwanese or Cantonese, a lot of us don't even know they exist, such as what I'm going to talk about today, the art of opening your letter. Yeah, I mean, how many of us even receive letters nowadays other than hydro utility bills and collection agencies and stuff like that, right? I mean, in the old days, though, there's no fax machine, there's no telegram, there's no uh, SMS, there's no WhatsApp. It was just mail. Uh, Now, one day we'll talk about the origin of the postal service in China. We'll talk about that because that's some interesting stuff right there, too. But today, I want to talk about the ceremonies, the rules around opening a letter when you receive it in the mail. Again, this is one of those little offbeat side rules that I think most of Chinese people today don't even know it. I think my dad, as much as a history buff he is, he doesn't even know this rule. Uh, I mean, when we get a letter in the mail, we just tear it open nowadays. Uh, some of us that carry knives or we have letter openers, we use that. But still, you just like grab the letter and you open it whichever way, long way, side way, top way, bottom way, whichever is uh, the closest to hand. In the old days, in Chinese history, you couldn't do that. And if you did that, uh, at the least, you will get laughed at by your peers as some uneducated barbarian, some uncouth individual, and at the most, you could actually get charged for some really serious stuff. And we'll get into that in a little bit. First, I would be uh, uh, neglecting my little pet peeve if I don't at least teach you a couple of words of Mandarin. In Mandarin, uh, when you get a letter, the letter you get in the mail, the letter is called Xin, Xing, Xin. The envelope is called Xin Feng, Xin Feng, Xingfong, Xin Feng, Xin Feng. Eh? The the letter inside, actually inside, it called Xin Jian, Xin Jian, Xingjian, or Xinzhi, Xingje, means letter, paper. Uh, when you want to sign a letter, when you want to give your signature, it's called Qian Ming. Qian, Chian, means to sign. Ming, Ming, means uh, name. Qian Ming, signature. Xin, letter. Xin Feng, envelope. 信件 or 信纸, the actual body of the letter inside the envelope. Now, once you receive your 信, once you receive your letter, the first thing you see, obviously, is the 信封, aka envelope. And here are the rules. Because Chinese people put so much stock, so much importance on everyone's station in life. in relation to everyone else. The way you open your xin, the way you open your letter, is based on your own position versus the sender of the xin. If this letter, if the xin was from your boss or your dad or the emperor, anyone of a definite higher status, higher station, someone who's a higher authority, then when you open this letter, you have to open it from the bottom of the letter. You have to carefully open it from the bottom, and then when you take it out, you have to use both hands and keep your head down and take it out nice and neat, and then look upon the letter, the 信件, the actual letter itself. Okay, you can't just like open it up and rip it out of the envelope and okay, let's see what dad has to say. That's a no-no in the old days. If it's your dad, then at the most, if your dad find out, he's just going to get really angry with you for disrespecting him. But this is the thing. If this letter was from the emperor, or if this letter was from uh, some higher up, and you open it the wrong way. You don't open it from the bottom. Let's say you rip it out from the top, or you don't show it proper respect, and they find out about it. Whoa, you can be up for anything from demotion to exile to losing your job or even death penalty if the emperor is in a bad mood and decides to say because you disrespected his letter, that's a sign of treason. So knowing this thing is very important in the old days. That's why people actually went to classes. Before you go to see the emperor in the old day, you actually have to go through training of all the little details you got to make sure you know. Otherwise, you may just get your head chopped off for no good reason other than, hey, I didn't know I was supposed to open the letter from the bottom. So just to recap that, if it's from your superior or someone from a higher status, you open the letter from the bottom and you take it out with both hands and keep your eyes down until it is totally out of the envelope, and then you can look upon it. If it's a letter from your underling, someone who works for you, so a letter from your son, someone of a lower station, then you open the letter from the top, and then you can take it out however you like. If it's someone of roughly your same station, your same generation, your same status, for example, your sibling or your cousin, uh, Chinese people believe that left is older, right is younger, left is more important, right is less important. So the left side is always the superior. So if it's your older brother, if it's your older friend or older cousin sending you a letter, you want to open it from the right side. So the letter is on the left, you yourself is on the right, you take it out from the right side. Uh, and if the letter is from a younger friend or younger brother or younger cousin, then you yourself is on the left side, the letter is on the right side because you are the elder. So you open it from the left and take it out from the left. And here is something that quite interesting. Now, some people say, well, okay, so what happens if it's a letter from your spouse? Your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, boyfriend. What do you do? In this case, I know some people are thinking that, oh, it's simple. If we are Chinese people, we're so sexist and chauvinistic, so obviously the husband would be the superior and the wife would be the inferior. So if it's husband, you open from the left, wife, you open No, no. If it's a letter from your loved one, the protocol is you turn the letter over, so it's lying face down, and then you carefully cut open the envelope in the back of the letter, and then take the 信件, the paper, the inside out. Why do they do it this way? Because lovers and spouses usually, in the old days, when if they were so far apart that they had to send letters like that, they would usually send something uh, along with it, either money, paper money, or they would send uh, a ring or a hair pick. That's a very common one, hair pick. Some ornament, some little thing. Sometimes it can be a lock of their own hair to for you to keep beside you so you can remember them by. They usually didn't just send a letter. They would send something with the letter, and that something is usually hidden underneath, near the back of the envelope. So if you cut open the envelope from the side and you pull the letter out, you run the risk of whatever's inside just falling out onto the ground and then, you know, getting damaged or getting going missing or whatever, right? Like, what if it's a lock of their hair? You pull out the envelope and now that lock of hair is falling on the ground and now it's dirty. Now, what are you going to do? So, if it's something from your loved one, your spouse or your romantic partner, then you open the letter from the back so you can immediately identify what is it they put in there with the letter itself, and you can take it out and put it in your pocket carefully. Now, I know this episode is might be come across as a little bit WTF, like who cares kind of thing. But while I don't agree with everything Confucius has taught, I do find these little ceremonies and traditions extremely interesting, especially when we think that once upon a time, these were common knowledge that things were just done. It was done this way. It's as simple as you uh, put your utensils on the table this way or that way. You wear a vest outside your shirt, or you wear a shirt outside your vest. Uh, you tuck your shirt in, or you don't tuck your shirt in. We like to say that these little traditions are pointless or weird and ridiculous, but when you really look around, you will see that nowadays we have just as many little ceremonies, little rules and regulations we follow in our everyday life, and maybe 100, 200, 1,000 years from now, people will look back and say, those people have to pay their government money every year? That's weird. That's ridiculous. Heck, I think it's ridiculous now. Anyway, thanks again for checking out today's Wisdom Wednesday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Toy Thursday. For now, 再见 and have a good night.